Hello and welcome to Travel Market Life. You are joining us as part of the International Hotel Technology Forum, the 2022 edition in Vila Mora in Portugal, by Faro, actually. It's awful weather here, so we've decided to sit inside whilst the rain is battering the windows and have a bit of a conversation this afternoon looking at technology and some of the key themes that the IHTF have been exploring. Everything from new platforms, payment gateways, guest experiences, and the technology that enables better operations to make more efficiency gains across the business. Joining me, we have Diogo Vaz Ferreira, Tiago Alves, Rohit Mishra, and Luis Martins.
Welcome to Travel Market Life, your companion for industry insights and professional business development. Travel Market Life. Join us by webcast, video or podcast.
First, I'd like to introduce our first guest who's with us. We have Diogo Vaz Ferreira. Now, you're from Clink Hostels. Please tell us a little bit about Clink Hostels and your role.
Sure. Thanks for having me. So my name is Diogo. I'm the head of commercial of Clink Hostels. Clink Hostels is a relatively small chain of hostels, but still the biggest independently owned chain of hostels in Europe. And on top of my role with Clink, I'm also part of WISE, Youth Travel Federation, part of the board.
Thank you very much. And over to Tiago Alves. You're with Belmond.
Yeah, I'm with Belmond. I'm the director of IT operations. So I oversee almost all kind of projects and field interactions, trying to make the field operations easier. And like I said, I'm with Belmond. We are an hotel chain, part of LVMH Group, a collection of 45 properties across the world.
Excellent. So quite a number, quite a portfolio there. And Rohit Mishra, you're with Park Plaza.
I am. I work with PPHE Group. We own two brands, Park Plaza and Art Hotel, and some other properties and resorts in Croatia. So I had guest experience and brand operations transformation from the group.
Excellent. Wonderful. And finally, we have actually on the technology vendor side, we have Luis Martins. You're from SHR.
Yeah, thank you for having me today. Yes, I come from SHR. We are a tech company, so we provide several different types of products for the hotels.
And what sort of products can hotels get from SHR? What is your portfolio of products that you have?
So we have a wide range of products such CRM, RMS, CRS, digital marketing, website, GDS. So we kind of have a full suite of products as well right now, as we got bought by Access. So we are all in together, even FPMS. So 360 products at the moment.
Okay, so this event is all about bringing buyers and sellers together. And what we're going to do today is just explore from the buyer's perspective, what's on the forefront of their minds and what they're hoping to learn and gain from this event. And then we'll turn to our vendor here through Luis about how he approaches an event like this. So first, Diogo, over to you. What are some of the key challenges that you're addressing for your business at the moment, and how is IHTF going to help you try to solve some of those problems?
Well, I guess the main thing is that we are looking at the moment, it would be the 3 A's that we are challenging, would be automation, adaptation, and authenticity. What I mean by that, of course, AI and other sort of technology that are providing automations for our service has an impact in the commercial aspects and operational aspects of the company. But at the same time, we have to make sure that they are well adopted by everyone in the team, not only the IT and the commercial, but also the ones that are on the field facing the guests every day. And at the end of the day is how can we have all those automations running without losing the personal touch, or without losing the authentic sides that makes our industry so special. And what I'm using at this event, of course, we have to make sure that we are all aware of the trends that are there in the market. And being here in Portugal at IHTF, talking with some vendors that I know, some others that I don't know, but also with some other competitors, hopefully will give me inspiration and go back home with a lot of ideas and some concrete projects to put in place.
How often do you get the opportunity to actually converse with other hoteliers, particularly who are perhaps dealing with the same level of decision making, as well as research as you, to try to find solutions for your business?
at this level is very rare. At this level, say us 2 or 3 times per year with ITB, WTM, and maybe IHTF. I think at this level, technology oriented is this type of opportunity you have. Then because I'm coming from a small industry inside the industry about hostels, and because hostels, we have a different, attitude towards being competitor or being a friend. So I think we, amongst hostels, we talk very, very often, and we call each other very often. Sometimes we don't have that in like a more corporate business hotel world. But I'll say at this level, with this quality of vendors and this quality of brands, it's not very often. It's not very often that I can sit with guys of Belmond because they don't even know that Clink Hostels exist, right? So having the opportunity to discuss with my friends from Belmond is an amazing opportunity.
Excellent. Now, Belmond, Tiago, what are you looking at for the portfolio at the moment? What are some of the key sticking points across the business that you're looking to improve or find solutions for?
Yeah, so like I said, one of my main roles is trying to support operations from a technical point of view. So I try to come to these conferences and see, like Diogo said, try to see what are the trend marks there. What is the new talking? What new technologies are out there, with the main goal to try and find something that, on my vision, that I would promote to our operations team, could help them streamline their processes. Automation, I think, like Diogo said, is something that is always on our minds. So automate the predictable to have time for the exceptional, right? The other thing that I'm really keen to see, and I believe there will be a couple of presentations on it, is what we could do in terms of environment, be more efficient and technologies that could help us care about the environment and streamline those kind of issues that always come up here and there.
How much, when you go to an event like this, is it about going back to your team, the wider team, other decision makers, senior leaders, to sell some of these ideas and to pitch some of these new solutions and get them embedded in the company to support the overall vision of the business?
I believe that we humans have aversion to change. So when we think that something is working, we don't really like to change it. So just to say that sometimes it's difficult to go back to the operations team and say, yeah, I saw some really cool product that I believe it will help us. Sometimes they are not even interested because they say, well, whatever we are doing, it's working. So motivating that, yes, but you could do more, or actually you could do less and achieve more with this new technology. Sometimes it's hard to motivate.
Interesting, because Rohit, this is, I guess, a precursor to what you're going to say. Really, is having those sort of aims and objectives in place, actually KPIs in many ways, that help you focus on that end goal. Please tell us, what is your current goal here and what you're looking to achieve for Park Plaza Group?
Sure. Thanks, Ryan. So I'm here today at the conference to meet both our colleagues in different hotels. We want to learn a lot from our competitors, but also non-competitive benchmarking, like hostels, for example. There's a lot upscale hotels can learn from hostels. From our point of view, our goal is to enhance guest experience. By that, I mean, we are looking at how to create a whole new lobby experience. Can I get my team from behind the desk and seat a guest on a nice sofa with a nice welcome drink and check them in? And at the same time, use this to reduce our operating cost. One of the key goals we have is to use technology to reduce some of our operating cost in the hotel, and which is why we are very keen on hearing from different providers, different hotels. We do have a clear-ish vision in our head what we want to achieve, but this is now a very good time to validate those ideas and meet some of the technology that can enable it.
It is fascinating, because I think that if you look back 10 or 15 years, and I'm guilty of this, being the PR marketing for tech people, is that always used to be save time, make money, which I know that Lewis is going to have an affinity with, because we both previously worked with a company called Rate Tiger, and it was all about saving time, making money, wasn't it?
Correct.
No, but what did that actually mean? And it's all about really understanding those proof points, isn't it? And when you're looking at that, how much is it important for you, not just, as you say, to speak to hoteliers, to understand the impact, and what impact are you looking at when you're speaking to technology suppliers? what proof points do you want from them to validate the impact that that product is going to have?
That's an excellent question. As you understand, like right in the conference itself, there's so many different solutions and platforms. So our approach to employing any new technology in the group is to do a lot of validations and proof of concepts. From a vendor's point of view, if I'm having decent conversations, we really like the technology. If I see that fitting in our hotels, it is very important then to speak with any references, other hotels that are using it, but also how. I think often when we implement technology in the hotel, we focus too much on technology, which is important. But rather than validating only the technology, it's very important to understand how operations need to change.
So cultural change is a big thing, but that's a lot of people management and that tech vendor actually supporting you with that?
Not the vendor, but we rely is not a right word, but we focus a lot on references. We are fortunate we have a very strong partnership with Radisson Hotel Groups. So we do communicate a lot with some of our colleagues in different hotels from Radisson. I can give you an example. If we are to say put self-check-in kiosk in our hotel tomorrow, not that we are, I'm just giving you an example, then I would work a lot with our colleagues in Radisson or other hotels through the same vendor and then understand what was the support provided, but also what they had to change in the way they work to be able to use the technology to the best way possible. And sometimes the answer could be it's an amazing solution, but we are not ready to go through that change yet. Sometimes it could be that, yes, we can learn and go forward with it. So those are the balances we are trying to strike.
Similar as what you were saying as well, Tiago, this need for that change management and to bring people into that cultural perception of what needs to be achieved to make that successful.
Yeah, but I kind of agree as well, because I think we also need to keep a balance, because sometimes bringing technology doesn't mean that we are going to solve all the problems, right? So sometimes we are going to overwhelm people because it's one more product that they need to learn, something else they need to do. So I think and again, one of the what I think that this kind of conference in IHTF, I really like this layout of conferences is you can address your operation issues and try to find a technology or a vendor or even another hotelier partner that could help you streamline that process and fix that issue. Because again, I think that technology is not always the answer. Sometimes we have already the technology, we are not just using it the way we should.
Now, if we come over to you, Lewis, you and I go back a very long way, over 15 years. And when you were green in the world of technology to today, how have you seen the change in the interest of technology within hoteliers? And how has the sales process adapted for you? What have you noticed is particularly instrumental to hoteliers making decisions on products?
Well, long time ago, 15 years ago. So Ray Tiger back on time was like first channel manager appearing. Well, introduced technology to hotels because it was paper manually changing everything. And everything is being changed so fast, especially I think since COVID, it's being crazy changing in the terms of mentality of the hotels and what they are looking for. As we are saying, guest relationship, automatization, this is coming since COVID. That's mostly talking about CRMs, how to interact with customers, how to know them, how to automatize everything, and how can we do all these processes and targeting the right customer at the right price. So it's been drastically changing because before you're working for like a normal booking engine or a normal channel manager, at this moment, this does not work anymore. Just like that is, how can I reach the best customer or the right customer, know that person, what is the price that I need to target that person, that region. So it's getting really much more complex in what hoteliers are looking for. And in our side as tech providers, we are adapting and putting all the integrations and how to offer and consolidate all the data that we get daily from the different systems, because it comes from different systems, our PMSs, RMSs, CRS, booking engine. So how can you consolidate everything and simplify it to the revenue manager, or director of sales, or even front office? So this is what you have, and this, with all the information that we got to you, this is what you need to do. And this is what you have been working, and it's the change, and it's keeping changing with all the AI and everything. It's a process that is being, like, everything automated. It's what you're doing.
Absolutely. Now, what do you like to know about the hotel before you start selling them a product? What's good for you to be aware of that the hotel is looking to achieve or go through?
Yeah. So IHTF, why you're asking everyone why you're coming, and I'm not here only for sell. I really like mostly to go to the trade shows, to do some networking with hoteliers, just to understand which different types of hotels, what are their needs. So I can help them or not, because sometimes I cannot help. But I need to understand what the hotel needs to see what I can help, or even if I don't have that tool or that solution, and at least go to product and say, like, hotels are looking for this, because I'm a salesperson, but still I'm the person that receives all the information, needs to be updated to understand what are the needs of the hotels, what Belmond needs, or maybe what Clink Hostel needs, because probably it's different things or similar things, but in different types of segments. So that is my first goal of coming to these trade shows. And second one, of course, trying to show what we have been doing and what is our plans for the future of what can we be offering to the hotels.
Certainly looking at the more longer term view. And so when it comes to sort of contracting with technology now, there's a lot more flexibility. You don't have to sign up to 20-year contracts and you're stuck with that. You can make changes. There's a lot of cloud-based systems. There's a lot of focus now on technology companies being able to access your data and then being able to migrate it to the new systems for you on your behalf, so you can just get up and running with the systems. What's sort of the term of contracts that you tend to look for when you're engaging in a new service? What's the sort of maximum, I guess, term or what sort of restrictions are there in place when you're talking to a technology provider?
Well, my legal department is very strict on that. So obviously it depends on the technology and what kind of change that technology would bring. We'd probably be looking no longer than 5 years contract. That's for sure. Obviously they prefer to have a 1 to 1 year contract, although not all the vendors are willing to accept that, with all the costs that they also get from their sides. But I would say, in average, probably a 3-year contract is where we see with the system providers and platforms. I think that's more or less the average.
Similar for us, it depends on the technology. Say if we are talking about a PMS, then we would want a longer term contract. I don't want to change my PMS every 2 years. But if we are talking about a guest experience technology on top of it, we also look for 3 to 5 years, the range of the contract.
Yeah, for us it's similar, but of course it depends. If you're trying new technology, not really sure if it's going to work or not, of course, you're looking for short terms contracts of 1 to 2 years. It's also important to notice that if a vendor comes to us and they are the ones offering a short-term contract, sometimes it feels, well, you are not really serious about our relationship, right? So sometimes when a partner comes saying, we're not doing less than 2-3 years for a question of stability to work on this account management, sometimes it makes sense to go those ways. But most than the duration of the contract or the exit clause, I think there are now conditions that are very important. The onboarding, the quality of the customer support, the hidden fees when it comes to finance, and most important now, with all the new different laws in GDPR, being a data collector, data processor, is who owns responsibility of what and do what they are doing to make sure that they are compliant. I think that's very important today. So not only the duration, but in contracts today with the data, who owns the data, who does what with the data, just becomes way more complex.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the conversations I've had more with hoteliers in the last couple of years is they're looking to work with less suppliers, one that is able to help them across all areas and take on that responsibility in many ways and be that point of contact. I think if you look back 5 or so years, there was that big, okay, make the tech stack yourself. But that raises a lot of complications in the terms of the contracts you're in, who's responsible for certain areas, how you protect your data. When you're looking at your systems, are you looking towards more consolidation, more working with a single platform?
Absolutely, Ryan. I can give you our example. That's something we are actively looking to do. Right now, for all the digital guest experience, we have, I think, 8 different providers and a couple of bespoke developments put all together. This becomes very hard to manage in the long run. It also becomes hard for all of them to work with each other to make sure everything still syncs, integrations work. So we are looking to consolidate that and look for providers who can touch upon as many parts of guest journey as possible. There are 2 sides of it, of course. We are also aware that in case we put all of our investment with one partner and it does not work out in a year, so there's a bit of pro and con, but we really want to make it much more consolidated to create a seamless journey.
Tiago, I see you nodding there.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think I think I agree with if you put all your eggs in one basket, sometimes might go wrong. So I think we try to keep a balance. But with that said, I believe we also like to standardize on our vendors. So if we agree up on a contract for a certain service, we know that vendor already commits with and complies with our requirements. So it eases up the process if you were to add on any other service. And I also one of the things that we also try to do is looking if we can do it in-house. And if we can manage the data in-house, then we would prefer to manage the data in-house. And kind of ticks that box that Diogo was saying with all the GDPR policies. If we have the data in-house and if we manage the data in-house, also eases up the process of contracting, etc. So we try to see, while we're negotiating the contract with different vendors and different systems, understand if there is anything that we could do in-house to offload from the vendor that eases up the process of the contracting as well.
I mean, it's an interesting thing because you work across different regions and countries, and each of them will have different regulations. So it's a matter of keeping on top of all of that as well, isn't there, Diogo?
No, exactly. And sometimes what becomes it even more challenging is most companies, they take the wrong approach when it comes to sign technology. Sometimes it's like the housekeeping manager knows about housekeeping management tool, then the F&B manager brings something, and everyone works in silos. Sometimes they're looking for 2 solutions that are actually doing the same thing and not really talking amongst departments. And I think sometimes companies have this approach. They go to this type of conferences, they see amazing company. Wow, I want to work with this company. So it doesn't matter if my tech structure or my team is ready or is the right fit. I say, wow, is a cool app or is a cool tool, is a cool company, I want to work with them. No, it should be the way around. First, you have to understand, okay, where we want to position ourselves as a brand, as a user experience, what type of tech do we need to achieve that? And then if I want to have a certain type of technology without having a chosen supplier, then I have to go to the market and source for the solutions to fit. And sometimes I have the feeling that we come to these conferences, we get impacted. Wow, these guys are so cool, I want to work with them. Sometimes might be not best fit. There are for sure companies to be amazing fit for Belmond or PPHE and not maybe for me, for a lot of different reasons. So I think it's very important to have people like Tiago in the companies, the IT operations side, the project management side, to make sure there is one voice talks with the different vendors to make sure that we don't work in silos.
Now, I mean, Lewis, you were mentioned as well about SHR joining Access Hospitality. That gives a wider portfolio of products there in which you can have those conversations and address, I guess, so many different areas across the business. This consolidation really is happening. We're feeling it, aren't we, within technology companies as we're seeing the acquisitions and mergers across different businesses. How much are you now sort of seeing that value of being able to support customers with their wider commercial goals, knowing you've got more products that you can support them with?
Well, this is still being a process at this moment. So the access goal is being the biggest accommodation. It's not only hotel, it's accommodation company worldwide that we could fit restaurants, spas, rooms, all integrated in one solution. So to avoid this kind of issues that it won't fit housekeeping with front office and etc. So our main goal at the moment, it's doing that. It's their vision. It's what they want to do, working with one tool for every single product. So in the midterm, that's going to happen. And I think it's going to be really important for especially mid-sized big groups that has a bunch of different hotels in different locations with restaurants, spas, etc. Where, because nowadays, what is the big issue? And I think it's we have several different good products, but they are not integrated with other ones. And what I was saying at the beginning is we miss information. We have so much information, but after they don't connect with each other, and I don't know, 60% of it, we'll lose it. So what you want to do is consolidate all the information in one piece and work with it. So last week it was good. I was in BTL last week. Actually, it was 2 groups of hotels that asked me that, look, I want to get all the F&B and spa revenue in that base so I can decide what rates I'm going to target for that specific days. Why? Because at this moment, I don't look for room revenue. I look for total revenue. And if I'm losing something in F&B, maybe it's because the rooms are more expensive. So this is the change that we are having, and it's the new approach that we are looking for. So yeah, that's our future goal of achieving it.
And special total revenue, just to cut there, is for us is even more important, right? Because if you are staying on a 200 euros hotel room and you pay 5-10 euros for a beer, it's a small percentage. But if you're staying in a hostel and pay 30 or 40 euros for a bed and go to the bar and pay 7-8 euros, is quite a higher share of revenue, right? So that having the right target in our hostels, combining also the F&B revenue, especially for hostels, is super important. So I totally agree with what we just said.
Excellent. I mean, as we come to round up this conversation, the IHTF continually is looking at developments that are happening in the market. Certainly last year, my stream, which I look after, was named Disc Marketing and Distribution. This year, it's Guest Experience. That is really covering everything that is front facing. And then you have the main room, which is Technology and Operations, again, sort of like really sort of looking at everything that sits behind in the tech stack. But there needs to be a fusion, doesn't there? There needs to be a conjoined approach to this.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. And is there any particular part of the program that you're interested in learning a bit more about from what you've seen, Tiago?
I'd love to see what other, not only hoteliers, but what other companies are doing in terms of AI that help them automate their processes. And also, like I said, trying to see if there is anything that could help us being more environmental effective, because I know that there are some technologies out there, maybe we are not just aware of them. So looking forward to see if there is something that we could use at Belmond.
Excellent. Well, thank you all very much for joining me today. And that's from Luis Martins, Diogo Vaz Ferreira, Tiago Alves, and Rohit Mishra. I'm Ryan Haynes. Thanks ever so much for listening.
For more, go to Travel Market Life. The music Sensation by Zach Nelson is reproduced under license from Storyblocks. Travel Market Life is a Haynes Marcoms digital marketing agency production, serving the travel and technology industries.